Hey guys, welcome back to another Unusual Pets PH video. In this video, I'll be showing off my Odontomachus simileus colony and a full guide on how to care for them. Without any further ado, let's get to it. First things first, what kind of ant is an Odontomachus simileus? Odontomachus simileus, commonly known as the trapjaw ant, is a semi-claustral species of ant. It is well known for those big jaws in which it can snap at lightning fast speeds. To help you guys understand how it works, I created a small animation to help me explain to you guys how their jaws work. As you can see, the ant has small trigger hairs in the front of its head, and when touched by a foreign object, such as a finger, they send out a signal that tells the ant when to close their jaws. On to the care guide. For Odontomachus simileus, you can have one of three setups. You can have a test tube setup, like I'm using right now, a dirt setup, which is where you don't have a test tube at all and you have to just keep misting it or adding moisture to it. And finally, the most ideal one, the tubs and tube setup. It combines both a dirt setup and a test tube setup. What we're looking at on screen right now is my younger Odontomachus simileus queen, which I caught recently. She only has a few eggs and 2 pupa, so I'm expecting workers soon. Let's cut back to my older colony and let's see how they are doing. As you can see, they are doing amazing. They have 2 workers, a pupa, and a bunch of larvae and eggs. I've had this queen for a few months and I'm so happy to see that she's doing amazing. Now, to get to this stage, you'll first need to get past the founding stage, which is one of the hardest stages in a semi-claustral queen's life. This stage is also hard on the ant keeper because you'll have to constantly feed her. Unlike fully claustral queens where you can just leave them in a drawer for a month, you have to actually feed this queen throughout her founding stage. If you're a beginner, I don't suggest Odontomachus simileus because they are pretty hard to take care of. I suggest getting familiar with the ant keeping community through fully claustral queens first. But if you think that you're ready for semi-claustral queens, I'm here to help you. The feeding schedule for semi-claustral queens is really up to you and what you can provide. For me personally, I feed my semi-claustral queens 2 to 3 times a week, even more if I can offer feeders. And when you reach the larval stage, the more you feed the queen, the faster the larvas grow. And finally, the pupal stage. Once you get there, it's just a waiting game to figure out whether or not the queen will hatch it, or she will be a big bad queen and just not hatch the pup. This has happened too many times. Moving on. I suggest feeding one small roach every 2 days for a growing semi-claustral colony. Again, tubs and tubes are best for semi-claustral queens. But if you're persistent and insist on keeping them on a test tube setup like me, you really need to add a small amount of dirt so that when the larvae are about to pupate, they can hold on to something. This rule is not just for Odontomachus simileus. It is for most semi-claustral queens. Again, you can feed her once or twice a week, but I feed her 2 to 3 times a week. The feeding schedule is really up to you and what feeders you can provide. If you're low on feeders, then I suggest feeding, less. But if you have a lot and you can spare some, then go ahead. Once you get to the colony stage, you'll have to feed a bit of a bigger feeder because you'll not just be feeding the queen and her larva, you'll be feeding workers. make sure to not feed any insects anything from the outside, because these could contain pesticides or insecticides that could harm or kill your colony. In conclusion, raising a trapjaw colony will take time, effort, and stress. You can't really
Odontomacos
rush it.
simileus, one of my
In
favorite
the
ant
words of my
species,
good friend Pizzy, ant
also
keeping
commonly
requires
known as the
patience.
trapjaw ant.
So if you're really up to the task,
Hey guys, welcome
I
back to
suggest
another Unusual Pets
Odontomacos
PH colony.
Thanks for watching, and I'll
Odontomacos
catch you
simileus,
guys next
one
time.
of my favorite ant
Here's
species,
some extra footage.
also commonly known as the trapjaw ant. Hey guys, welcome back to another Unusual Pets PH colony.